Right then guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm ranking every League 2 manager from the start of the 2022-23 season. Just before we go into this video, this is just my opinion, and if you disagree, put your thoughts in the comments, and I'm sure the managers that I rank lower than you think will probably prove me wrong this season. So yeah, let's get into the video. Before we get into the video, there is 5 tiers. So the top tier is quality, then there's good, then average, then unproven, and then poor. So yeah, let's get into the video. The first manager I'm going to be speaking about is Johnny Jackson at AFC Wimbledon. I'm going to put him in average. He has obviously managed at Charlton last season, both caretaker and permanent. I think he managed about 40 games and he won 19 of them. So it's about a win every other game. So it's not a bad record, and I think it's a decent appointment for AFC Wimbledon. So yeah, I'm going to put him in average. Pete Wild is the next one I'm going to be speaking about, and I'm going to put him in average again. He's at Oldham for a short stint. I think he had 9 games there before going to Halifax, where he managed around 140 games, I think it was, winning 65 of them, which is around a 46 win percentage in return. Not a bad return, and he finished 4th with Halifax last season, which is a great achievement. Mark Hughes of Bradford City is the first manager to go on quality. Obviously, look at the pedigree of clubs he's managed at: Wales, Blackburn, Manchester City, Stoke, Southampton, Fulham, QPR. Managed around 450 Premier League games, winning 150 of them, so he has to go on quality. Paul Simpson of Carlisle is next. I'm going to put him in good. In his first stint in 2003, he won back-to-back promotions, which was a brilliant achievement, and he's a bit of a legend down at Carlisle. I think obviously he's back there now. He did well. I think he won 5 of 7 games, which drew their relegation thoughts away and obviously pushed them away from relegation. He's also won the World Cup with England's under-20s, so he's had a decent career as a manager. Wayne Brown is up next for Colchester United, and he's going to be the first manager to go to Pua. I just feel like he hasn't really got much real experience in League 2. His only real managerial was at Malden and Tiptree. He did quite well there, to be fair, winning 96 out of 141. But at Colchester, he won 9 out of 22. Not brilliant. Recently appointed Kevin Betsy is up next, and obviously he's been recently appointed at Crawley. Not real managerial experience in the senior game. He's had managerial jobs at England's 16s, 17s and 18s. He was at Arsenal's under-23s last season. Did quite well. They finished 3rd and they play some nice fluid possession-based football. But he hasn't really got much, like I said, experience in the senior game, so I'm going to put him in unproven. Another manager that's going to go into unproven is Alex Morris at Crewe Alexandra. Again, not much experience. The only real managerial experience is at Crewe's under 18s. He was assistant manager to David Artell, and when he got sacked, he took over as interim manager for the last 4 games. He won 1, but I can't really judge him off 4 games, so I'll put him in unproven. Gary McChevry of Doncaster, I think he has to go into Poole. Doncaster obviously got relegated last season. He took over from Richie Wellens when they were 23rd. Didn't really do much to keep him survive. They had a little push towards the end of last season, but I'm going to put him into Poole, but I think he could prove me wrong. Neil Harris of Gillingham, let's just talk about his career as a manager. He had 4 successful years at Millwall. In his first season, he got them to the playoff final where they lost. But in the second season, got them promoted to the Championship through the playoffs. And then he had 2 years after that in the Championship where he sustained Millwall. He went to Cardiff for a few seasons after that. He got the sack, and I think it was in 2020. And then obviously got appointed in January of this year for Gillingham. And obviously they got relegated, but not really much of a January transfer window for Neil Harris. So I am going to put him in quality. I think he's going to be a good manager for Gillingham next season. On to recently promoted Grimsby now, and obviously their manager is Paul Hurst. Hurst obviously had a stint at Grimsby in around 2013 to 2016. Got him promoted into the Football League. He then left for Shrewsbury. Did all right there. I think they got him to the playoff final where they lost. And then he went to Ipswich. Didn't do very well there. Scunthorpe again, he was only there for a short time. Then went back to Grimsby in December 2020. Couldn't save him from relegation. However, they got promoted at the first time of asking back to the Football League I'm going to put him in average. Simon Weaver of Harrogate Town, he has to go into good. He's done an absolute superb job at Harrogate. Obviously getting him into the Football League, and they've stayed in this league for the last 2 seasons. And I think he's the longest serving manager in the EFL for Harrogate. So absolutely superb job he's done there. Then on to Hartlepool, recently appointed Paul Hartley. He was successful up in Scotland, has never had a job in England now. Did well with Dundee, leading them to the Scottish Championship title, obviously winning promotion to the Scottish Premiership. And I think they finished 6th and 8th in their 2 seasons there before getting sacked. So I'm going to put him in average. Next up is Richie Wellens at Leyton Orient. I think he'll go into the good category. He did a good job at Swindon, where he led them obviously to the League 2 title in the 2019-20 season on points per game. He then moved to Salford, where he won the Papa John's Trophy, but I think a few weeks later he got sacked. And then he went to Doncaster, where he was quite unsuccessful when he was sacked. I think the team were 23rd in the league. But he's gone to Leyton Orient, and he looks like he's turned things around already there. I think they're looking promising going into this season. So I think he's a good League 2 manager, so that's why I'm going to put him in the good category. Nigel Clough of Mansfield. I think there's only one category I've got to put him in. I think he's a quality manager. Obviously started his managerial career at Burn Albion. He was there for 11 years, developing the club all the way up to the conference, I think, which is also known as the National League now. He's had stints at Derby and Sheffield United before returning back to Burton Albion. He got them promoted to the Championship for the first time in their history, but then left. He's gone back to Mansfield. He had a season where they had to fight off a bit of a relegation battle, but this season, even after a slow start, he's done good there at Mansfield. I think he's a quality manager for League 2, and I think next season Mansfield will be a team looking for promotion. James Rayberry's up next. Obviously, he's the manager of Newport County. He's appointed in October 2021 after Michael Flynn left the Exiles. He guided them to a 11th place finish last season, which is not a bad finish for Newport, so I'm going to put him in the average category. John Brady's next up, and I'm going to put him in average category. I just think other managers on the list, I just don't think he's as good as some of the managers in good, so he'd just miss out. He's probably at the top end of average. Obviously, he joined the coaching setup at Northampton after 6 years as manager at Brackley Town. He then put an interim manager after Keith Curl was sacked, but then that was put permanent for the League 2 campaign this last season. They finished 4th and just missed out on promotion. But yeah, I think he's a good manager. I'm just going to put him in the average category, just missing out on the good. Robbie Stockdale of Rochdale, I'm going to put him in poor. After an interim jobs at clubs like Grimsby, especially at Sunderland, he was appointed Rochdale manager in July 2021. They finished 18th last season, which was a really poor finish for them. And Stockdale only had a 27.7 win percentage, which is absolutely awful. But I think going into next season, they could improve on that. But from last season, which I'm judging it on for him, I'm going to put him in poor. Neil Wood, who's recently been appointed at Salford, I'm going to put him in unproven. Obviously, they've appointed him from Manchester United. He was their under-23s coach there. Did okay there, did some decent things. Obviously, guided them back to the Premier League 2. But there's not a lot of experience there, so I'm going to have to put him in unproven. We're going to have to wait and see for this season. Steve Evans, I'm going to put him in the good category. Obviously, he was appointed as Stevenage manager in March. He managed to get them away from the relegation zone. In his career too, he's been at clubs like Rotherham, Leeds, Peterborough. He was at Gillingham, where he did a decent job on a low budget. So yeah, I think Stevenage will be alright for next season, and I think they've got a decent manager under Steve Evans at this level. Recently promoted Stockport County, their manager is Dave Challoner. I'm going to put him in the good category. I know he hasn't really got much League 2 experience, but at the clubs he's been at, I think he's done a really good job. He's at 9 years at AFC Fylde and winning the FA Trophy there and winning 4 promotions in 5 years, which is a brilliant job. He then at Hartlepool got him promoted through the playoffs, obviously there. But he then moved to Stockport, which he's at now. Obviously, he won the league there to get promoted to League 2. I think he's going to be a good manager for Stockport County, so That's why I'm going to put him in the good category. Matt Great Sutton is another manager that's to go into the good category. Obviously, he led them into League Two from the National League, and then last season they finished 8th in the first season, going against all the odds. All the odds were putting them to go down last season on a low budget, but they proved the odds wrong. They obviously got to the Papa John's Trophy final too, obviously losing to Rotherham. He's an excellent job there, and I think he'll hopefully, for Sutton fans, carry it on next season. Scott Lindsay of Swindon, I've got to put him in Unproven really. No real managerial experience there, only at Chatham Town. He's obviously been assistant manager most of his career, obviously at Swindon. I think he was at Forest Green too, but I can't put him in any real other category other than Unproven. Mickey Mellon of Tranmere Rovers, obviously quite an experienced manager. Obviously he's been at a few clubs, the likes of Fleetwood, obviously Tranmere and Shrewsbury. He had a good time at Fleetwood, winning 2 promotions in 3 seasons. And then between his first spell at Tranmere in 2016 to 2020, he won back-to-back promotions. So for that, I'm going to put him in the good category. And I think Tranmere next season will probably be looking for promotion. The final manager on the list is Michael Flint at my side, Walsall. Obviously before Walsall, he was at Newport County, where he spent 4.5 seasons. He obviously got into 2 playoff finals. He went on a few good FA Cup runs against the likes of Leicester and Manchester City, and he overall just developed Newport County into a sustainable League Two side. He eased Walsall's relegation fears too. He came in, got some good results, and he's really building a good squad, I think, for next season for the Saddlers. So I'm going to put him in the good category, as I think he's a solid League Two manager. So there you go, I've ranked every League Two manager for the 2022-23 season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, if you agree with some of my selections or if you disagree with some of my selections. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing some League Two content over this pre-season period. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.